Hey everyone, this is Juicy here. Today I want to talk a little bit about a cryptocurrency that I've been researching on. So my previous video, I did one, speaking in regards of how, over 350 million dollars worth of cryptocurrency was liquidated. And one of those that caught my eye was Zilliqa or Zilliqa, however you want to pronounce it, but I guess I'll reference it as ZIL. So ZIL had a substantial amount that was liquidated as well, or I think it was around 50 mil. Um, and that piqued my curiosity on why it was so high in regards to the liquidations. Now, if you guys don't know, how things get liquidated is, if someone bets that the price of a coin is gonna be, let's say, higher, they would bet on the long positions because they believe that in the long run, um, you know ZIL is gonna be worth a certain amount or more than it is currently. And then anyone who bets against it pretty much gets liquidated, and vice versa. So someone who wants to short it, who doesn't believe that the ZIL token would be a certain amount and it's actually going to be lower, they would put futures or futures saying that it would be lower, and then everyone who got long would pretty much be liquidated. So there was a substantial amount, and at the time when I discovered ZIL, it increased by like 133%, and it kept on increasing. I believe when I initially discovered it, it was pretty much around like the 18, like 17 or yeah, I would say maybe around like the 15 to 16. And then, I saw it go up to 20%, 20 cents. And, it did definitely pique my interest. I want to learn more of it. So this video is to pretty much describe what I go through and how I do my research. And the reason why I waited to make this video is because, a lot of the videos that I watched about ZIL on YouTube, a lot of them were, people giving very informative information on what ZIL was, as well as price predictions, whether that's through technical analysis, and how bullish they were. In my opinion, I wanted to wait to see how things fleshed out, and I was pretty confident of what I speculated. And what the biggest thing for me was that I felt that there was a lot of FOMO with ZIL, and the main biggest reasons why was because I personally did not really see a lot of like facts or evidence about ZIL that proved to me that it was increasing for a certain amount of reasons. Now, the biggest thing that I believe that the driving force was for ZIL to increase was because they were showcasing a showcase of I think it was like a metaverse environment called like Metapolis, and because of that, I'm pretty sure. And if you saw the tick of the candles, it was like a huge spike. Definitely not something where people decide to put in. I'm pretty confident that was like a whale who put in a large amount. People saw that, and then people started to buy more ZIL, and then there was a huge hype train around it because of the large increase in price, and then people learned about the showcase of the new metaverse, and then people got into FOMO, seeing how large the price of ZIL increased, and they kept on putting in. So now we're at that stage now where people are speculating where ZIL can go. So I kind of wanted to showcase my research and things like that. So first thing I usually do is I go onto CoinGecko or CoinMarketCap. Now I believe when I first found out about it, it was ranked 50. I think it was ranked 53. And then during I think that was like the highest point I saw it during the hype, right? I think a couple of days ago, after the Metapolis was showcased without any roadmaps or anything like that. It was just for potential investors, in my opinion. Yeah, the price decreased and then went down to like 73. Now it's ranked 65. Now, CoinMarketCap as well as CoinGecko, they provide a lot of good insight. First thing is you can definitely check out the website, which I'll showcase later. Another thing you can do too is check out their community. So they have a blog, they have a Twitter as well as a Reddit, and I'll go into that. Another thing to do is their source code. So if you look, this is their GitHub repository, and you can clearly see, all right, there's good amount of metrics on, okay, things are being updated. You can see that, they're being updated, pretty much like 2 weeks, 3 weeks before. And you can only speculate on what they're doing exactly, but if you are tech savvy enough, you can go to the code to understand it. You can, but this just tells me, all right, it's pretty frequent. It's people are updating it. I'm not how would you say, I'm not expecting large amounts of updates recently just because they just recently released a roadmap, I guess, or showcase. I'm sorry, not the roadmap, but they showcase, Metapolis. Very unlikely that they're going to do live updates, within the past week, because I'm pretty sure they're prepping for, that showcase. So yeah, so you're gonna. I'm pretty sure a lot of people too, right? They're going to type in ZIL crypto, try to understand what exactly it is, for like what it is. And you can see, people are doing price predictions and things like that. When I was looking at it, people were saying that it was going to go to like 20 cents, 60 cents, $30, $1 and things like that. So people are very, bullish. And, it's good that there are people who are very bullish, but you definitely really need to do some research on what ZIL does, in addition to technical analysis. So one of the things that I like to do too is I like to go into the subreddit stats. This tells me, if there is a good growth overall, as well as how active the community is. So you can clearly tell, from January until now, there was this large spike, and then even if you compare to the current hype, which started in probably in beginning of April, before April, yeah, it spiked up again, right? So this is definitely because of the recent spike, but this is what makes me more interested, right? What happened in January? So that stuff like this definitely makes me want to investigate more and further. You can tell that I guess the subscriber rank is pretty good, but it definitely has going on the low trend. You can also see the comments per day has dramatically increased recently, right? Pretty much back to the former self in January. So stuff like this makes me want to go back into this certain area to figure out, okay, like why was the spike, what caused it, and things like that. So these are the type of things that I look out for, and then from here, I go into the actual Reddit and I look at what people are saying, the interaction. So you get a lot of good information. Like for example, you can RSVP for the roadmap, which is in April 14th. So these are the type of things that I would sign up for, just to get a better information. You can also clearly tell that people are doing their technical analysis, posting their YouTube videos, potential roadmaps. So yeah, so it does seem like there is a lot of activities going on. You get more insight than just Googling. Now, these are also cool things. They had an NFT within ZIL. They provide a lot of clarification insights, and this is what I understood about Metapolis. That Metapolis is going to be, a metaverse as a platform, or metaverse as a service. So what that means is they're not exactly building an actual metaverse, but they're offering a metaverse platform or service for potential customers, whether that's a e-commerce or any type of consumer goods that want to get into the metaverse, I'm pretty sure Metapolis would be a good way to bring it instead of building their own, right? Because that's how technology works. We have a lot of X as a service, such as platform as a service, infrastructure as a service, and things like that. So metaverse as a service is very unique. It's something that's very different compared to a metaverse. So stuff like that, and since it's very unique, and they're probably one of the trailblazers for doing this, that gives them a little bit of an edge, in my opinion. Now, that doesn't mean that they're going to be the best, or I don't even know if they are the originators of providing a metaverse as a service, but it's definitely a cool idea, and it makes me very positive of what they're trying to do. Now, another thing too, you can go on Twitter, you can see the latest things, you can see how they are hyping up their showcase of the recent event that they had in Florida. Another thing too is you can search, people are speculating it's going to $3, things like that. Then you can watch the videos, things that were, I guess, they're slowly leaking out to bring more hype into the platform. Now, one of the cool things that I see here, just from face value, is that it does seem that the graphics are pretty up to date. It's not like Sandbox or Decentraland. Sandbox is very like Minecraft-like, but this seems a little bit more, better graphics. So those type of things I think is a little bit more important, especially in the future generations. For people who want to do it, definitely a lot of potential things, more things you can do with graphics in regards to that. But that doesn't mean that stuff like Sandbox is not going to be obsolete. That's definitely going to be have its own niche, as its own customers. Now, one of the things that I learned too is pretty much sharding. So ZIL pretty much has or brought on board sharding in 2019, which has pretty much optimized how the ZIL works, and that pretty much gives it an advantage compared to like Ethereum. Ethereum doesn't have sharding, but Ethereum has sharding in the pipelines for potentially next year. So because of that, ZIL definitely has an advantage and one up of Ethereum. So that is something that you should take into consideration on ZIL. So like that's like a +1. Another thing too is that when I was looking at the roadmaps as well as the video showcases, and I was talking about like the graphics were pretty good, I wonder why. They're using Unity and they're using NVIDIA Omniverse. So these are really good things. This shows collaborations as well as potentials of what it can do, and based on a interview that I watched, or a podcast that I watched about Metapolis with the head of NFTs. I forget her name, but I'm pretty sure, Sandra. She mentioned, people can, log into computers as well as log on to their phones, and based on the graphics of the set device, it will correlate that and know how to give the most optimal and best graphics based on the device. In addition to that, what she said too was another limiting factor would be your network. So if you're on 4G or 5G or direct LAN or internet cable, that's going to be a huge thing as well. So they definitely give a lot of insights, especially if you do your own research and you try to piece things that they're saying. But I'm just literally showcasing you guys, how I do my research, listen to podcasts and things like that. One thing you should definitely do too is they have a roadmap that they're going to showcase on April 14th. So definitely take some time, sign up for it. And this is something that I'm going to be personally attending just so I can figure out and do my own research. And I can evaluate whether, ZIL is a good, cryptocurrency to to invest in. Another thing that I use a lot to do research is a thing called DeFi Llama. DeFi Llama gives you a good overview of like the TVLs, the total value locked within those protocols and ecosystems. You can see here that there's only two ecosystems provided, and that's not true in my opinion, because there's a lot of collaborations going on within the ecosystem of Zilliqa, right? But you can clearly tell that the trading volume, though, it is substantially low, and this is due to the recent hype and spike with ZIL. So it's been going downhill. I'm pretty sure a lot of people have been holding it ever since, and recently right now I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people who just had FOMO, bought it when it's high, and now since it's going low, I'm pretty sure a lot of people are going to the Discord channels as well as Reddit, talking about the price and speculating and saying how much money they've potentially lost. But yeah, another thing I want to mention too is their website. Their main website is probably one of the best ways to get more information. I explored it pretty well. I was very surprised of how good their website is. They definitely give statistics on it as well, which is a good sign. They also showcase you a lot of the things and ecosystems within ZIL, so that's good. They're very transparent. It's not like they're hiding anything. And I'm able to reach a lot of things that I want to do, as is like who's the CEO, where can I get Discord channels. They're very open, very transparent, and they also give you a lot of information on the wallets you can use, how to stake, how to mine, the various types of ways to stake and mining. So I thought that was really cool. In regards of the protocol, now me personally, if I had capital, I may invest in it. But right now, I'm based on my research and my speculations of what would happen. I'm pretty confident and happy that I didn't buy into it, just because I was gonna buy into it maybe around 18 cents or 17-cent mark, and it would be justified if I sold it maybe at top. But you can never speculate or like guess our timings. It's probably one of the worst things you can do. And if I bought it, I'll definitely be lower, and even if I put in a certain amount, I would definitely be under. So me personally, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to write this out. I'm going to wait until April 14th to see the roadmap. Now, even when the roadmap does come out, that doesn't mean it's sure guaranteed. This is just them providing and being very transparent on what they want to see with ZIL. And I think a lot of people are way too focused on the Metapolis, and I don't think a lot of people understand that Metapolis is a metaverse as a service, and they're just speculating that it's gonna be the next biggest metaverse that can potentially compete with like Sandbox and Decentraland and Blocktopia and things like that. I do think that the graphics is very good. I am looking forward to what they can potentially do, but everything right now is just speculations and just piecemeals of things that they're showcasing, and things like that. I do wish for the best. I do wish things things go up price wise. It would be nice to see whether or not I do have any stake in ZIL, and I currently do not, but I'm eyeing it and I'm monitoring it, because it is something that it seems very prominent, seems very promising, but there's also a lot of things about it that make me a little bit worried. One thing right off the bat is like this originated meeting around like 2017, so that was like years ago, and it's been pretty stagnant and just recently had a huge boost, and then pretty went stagnant, pretty much down, and it went a huge boost. So yeah, I mean, stuff like this makes me a little bit concerned, a little bit iffy, because I read up on things like they change CEOs or the founders, things like that. So there are a lot of things that it has that gives it a one-up advantage. but then there's also a lot of little bit concerns and worries. So I just want to showcase, my thoughts and my process with, how I research, and I'm just using ZIL as an example. Nothing against ZIL or saying how it's a bad coin, but I'm just showcasing my tools and my thought process when it comes to these type of things. So hope you guys enjoy it. Hope it was very useful. I'll try to leave all of the links in the description on what I use to do my research. In regards of just like their GitHub, the subreddit, and the statistics, their main websites, as well as like DeFi Llama and DDApp Radar, because I find those very useful when I do decide to make a decision when it comes to putting my money into these type of coins, because you have to do this type of research. You definitely have to do your own research. You can't just follow everyone on YouTube or speculate based on what you see. You definitely need to do a lot of research. If you want to look at it as like a stock, then you can, and you should definitely understand the company or the protocol or coin, right? So yeah, hope this is helpful. I'll talk to you guys later. Juicy out.